Okay, so we're sitting here in Ghent, guys, with a lovely guy called Gregory, who was kind enough to take us into his home and let us sleep here for the night. Now, on the journey, guys, obviously we're trying to get a few different aspects of what contributing factors are towards homelessness. And we understand a big one is, well, poverty and everyday working class people kind of being pushed onto the brink of homelessness. Now, Gregory here works with a small organisation in Ghent who pretty much will work with a lot of poverty-stricken people or people near poverty, if I'm correct, of course. But I brought Gregory along to tell us a bit more about what his organisation does and what your goals are. So would you like to tell us a bit about what you guys are about?
Our group is called the Lege Portemonnees, which means the empty wallets. I think our main goal is to organize and bring together people in poverty, near poverty level, but also people who are not living in poverty. We work around two or three main subjects. It's income, low income, employment, and unemployment. These three things are linked closely together because your income is a big factor in being or not being poor, of course.
Yeah, of course.
When we talk about income, we talk about the people who live from welfare, who benefit from welfare. What we see in Belgium is that less and less people access those rights, and the income they get from it is not sufficient. The same thing applies for people who are unemployed. The money you can get when you're unemployed, it's harder and harder to access those benefits, and it doesn't. What you get isn't enough to have a decent living standard. And even people who work, sometimes even people who have two jobs, they are what we call the working poor.
Yeah.
Even if they work, they don't make enough to get above that poverty level. So this is the problem we try to tackle here in Ghent, and we hope to spread out.
So we kind of seem to be hearing from a lot of people that situation for working people with the economic situation, it just seems to be getting worse and worse. Would you agree that the situation is gradually getting worse, or?
It's getting worse. It's getting worse everywhere in Europe. In Belgium, it's going better than in places like Spain or like France, like Greece. But it's getting worse. At the moment, we don't have a government. We have a government, but not a functioning one. So the big decisions are ahead of us. So that's an advantage we have. We have to try to organize the people before decisions are before they take the serious decisions here in Belgium. But on the other side, we see more and more groups, more and more people are excluded from the system. They get trash contracts, they get jobs that will never allow them to enter the system, the social security system. So this is also a problem, because a social security system that's built around excluding people is not a social system.
No, of course not. In your opinion, why do you think this is? Why is the Belgian government making more steps to exclude people from coming in?
Their explanation is there is not enough money. We don't have enough money, so we cannot afford all these expensive welfare benefits, which in my opinion is bullshit, because there is enough money to save the banks, there is enough money to give tax breaks to the big companies, there is enough money to subsidize people who can buy a home, but people who rent, they get nothing.
Yeah.
So there is money, there is a redistribution of the money, but it's not towards the people who need it the most.
Yeah, right. So eventually with your organisation, what is it that you guys, your aims for the future, what is it you would like to see changed in the system that you're working in?
Well, our first step before we want to change the system is to get organized, to get bigger, to have more and more people involved, especially the people who will get hurt the most, the people who are the most vulnerable. This is the first step. The other step is we want to work on changing mentality. More and more people say, "Oh, you're poor because you're lazy," and that's bullshit, because you can go search for work with a big looking glass, but if you don't find it, it's not because you're lazy. And then locally, here in Ghent, we want to work around certain policies that the city is making to force people to work jobs that are not fit for those people. And if the people do not take the jobs, they lose their welfare benefits. So this is like the next step it's close to slavery. On a larger scale, outside of Ghent, we want to have a network in all different cities where we want to have the same fight. So we're fighting for rights that have already been fought before, for those rights. So the workers' movement, the unemployed movement, they already had that fight. We thought it was fixed, it was clear, those were our rights, and now they're trying to take them away and to destroy everything that has been built. So we're reacting against that. So one of the most important aims we have is we want the lowest incomes. They have to be higher. They have to be above the poverty line, because it's insane. You have welfare benefits or wages that are under the poverty line.
And of course, wages have been staying the same, and when prices has been going up. So a lot of people are 50 euros a month off the poverty line. So yeah. Is there anything you'd like to see from the government specifically on what they can do to better the situation?
Well, the government can do a lot. The problem is they don't do anything at the moment to better the situation. So as long as they don't do it, I think it's up to us to do it. But surely the government can set higher minimum wages. They can tax the companies to fund the welfare programs. They have. Our slogan is it's insane to look for money in the empty wallets. So they have to go where the money is, and they have to take that money and invest it wisely, invest it in the purchasing power of the people, of all the people, because that's the only way you can have an economy in this system who is working without too much exclusion.
That's true. Well, Gregory, thanks a lot for shedding some light on the situation. It's been really interesting talking to you and your colleagues. Thanks a lot for coming on. And anything else you'd like to?
Well, what you want to do is shed the light on the situation of homeless people everywhere in Europe, and I think the question of income, of wages, is closely linked to the problem of the homeless. What we see is less and less money is invested in real economy and jobs, and more money is invested in real estate and financial instruments. When someone invests money in something, it's to get more money out of it. So if someone invests in real estate, it's because he wants to get rent, he wants to sell it, and that's a problem, because on the one side we see that the wages are going down, rents are going up, more and more people are standing on the edge of a cliff, and one small problem, a divorce, getting sick, having an accident, so losing your third or your second job, or losing your job, that can be enough to fall off that cliff. And then the moment you can't pay your rent, well, your
Yeah.
landlord,
For
he's not a
1 month.
humanitarian.
Yeah.
It's not, but in Belgium it's not 1 month, but then you make debts, you have to repay them, so you fall off it, and your landlord, he doesn't care because there are a lot of other people waiting to get in your apartment, in your house.
Yeah.
So I think this is the link between the income that is lowering and rents that are going up, and there you have a lot of people who fall from the cliff.
Yeah.
And end up homeless.
Exactly. Well, Greg, I think what you guys do is an amazing job, and people out there, guys, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on the brink of being homeless and being shoved under. So, thanks a lot.